John Rush here today. My son Richard Rush behind the camera. Today we're going to do a long look, I should say, at the 2016 Volvo S60. This is actually the T5 all-wheel drive version, which this car comes with a 2.5 liter turbo engine, 250 horsepower. That's actually what's on the window sticker. Everything on the website says 245, but the window sticker does say 250. And it is a 6-speed automatic transmission. We've averaged 24 miles to the gallon in this car. It is rated at 20 and 28. So fuel economy was a little disappointing to us. We thought it should be a little bit higher, especially with myself driving mostly highway miles. We felt like the 24 was a little bit low. Well, let's take a walk around and look at the new 2016 S60. You can see they've redone some of the front end of the car. Not a lot of major changes to the car. It looks very similar to the cars previous to this, or the generations previous to this. One thing that I will say, and Richard's showing you this right now, it's got some awesome headlights. Really cool features on this car, projector beams. And what they do is you can actually leave the high beams on all of the time, and the lights will adjust according to who's in front of you and change so that there's not that blinding light at the cars coming in front of you. So really nice feature. It also has heated windshield washer fluid that actually washes the front headlights. Of course, it does the windshield. The windshield is also heated as part of the cold climate package, which just last week in Colorado, it was pretty chilly. That includes heated front seats, heated steering wheels, heated rear seats, windshield, and again, the washer nozzles, I should say. It also comes with a pretty roomy interior. We'll go through that here just a little bit. We'll show you the rear trunk. We'll go take a ride in it here momentarily. But this is a car that as you get in it and start driving it, it's all Volvo. I don't know how else to say that. You just get in it, the car feels comfortable, it feels right, it handles well, it steers well. There's a couple of things negatively on it that we'll mention as we go through the review, so hang with us. We'll go take a drive. We'll come back and walk through the rest of the 2016 Volvo S60. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick drive in the Volvo S60 T5. Let's do this. I'm going to start the car. One of the things I do like, and Richard doesn't care so much for this, but I think it's great. So the key, they put a nice little slot here for it, which some of the cars, nowadays have. I like that. If you're a guy that keeps it in your pocket all the time, that's great. I tend to be one that actually pulls the key out, and I like having a place to put it. I think that's a great thing to do. So you hit the brake, start the car up. Let me turn our settings down here a little bit so you can actually hear. So one thing you just noticed real quick. So as I just hopped in, you can change all the sound settings for the screen in front of you through here. One of the things that again, you kind of have to get used to is how the center stack works. So driver's side heat temperature settings or HVAC temperature settings are here. Passenger side is here. The heated seats, which is kind of strange, is you actually hit this button here, and that actually gets the seats turned on and heats the front seats. There's a couple of little buttons here, and I'm going to put this in gear real quick to make it so you can see these a little better. You have the ability here to actually hit this, and the back seat headrests are up. If I hit those, it automatically makes them fold down to give me a little more visibility out of the back window, because when they are up, it is a little bit cumbersome. Heated wheel, lane departure, and this is your cruise control, your traffic alert to the vehicle in front of you right here. You can set the distance accordingly, and then your parking alert is also right here. It also has a hill descent control that you can hit here, and the rest of this, a lot of you will ask, what are all these numbers for? Well, literally, if you're going to punch in some addresses for nav, or a telephone or what have you, that's what all the numbers here are for. And frankly, I didn't use the nav to even see how that works, because I pretty much know where I'm going here. So those of you that are interested in that, you need to hop in the car, drive it for yourself, and see how that works. But as you can see, what I was saying even a little bit earlier, some of the cons of this vehicle that we don't care for is we really feel like they should enlarge this screen. It's getting to the point where most everybody else has a larger screen. No offense, Volvo, but this screen size is about the size of what some cars come standard with no upgrades. We think you can get that a little bit bigger and make that a little larger. Not a big deal, but when you hit the My Car button up here, it'll actually walk you through where some of the menu things are on the vehicle, and you can actually hit the menu over here, and it'll walk you through all the different settings that are on here. So let's do this. Let's go back to radio. I'm going to put it in reverse, show you the backup camera, which is nice, and it does have the grids on it, so I can actually, steer myself over here next to this curb line pretty easily, and it shows you exactly where you're at. It shows you the sun glare even coming through. Okay, another feature that it does have is you can hit the camera button here, and say you're trying to park really close to somebody, you actually are getting a look now at the actual rear bumper of the car to see how close you would be to an obstacle, or make sure there's nothing parked underneath you, bicycles, tricycles, things along those lines. But let's just take a quick drive. And our tire pressure light is on because of one of the tires on this car has got a problem on it. Nothing to do with the review. It's probably one of the journalists that had this car before us. It's got a bubble in the front tire, so it's turning the light on. So if you see it on the dash, don't worry about it. That's not normal. You're not going to see that typically on the car, but it is a nice feature because it shows you that, hey, we've got a problem. Let's go take a peek at that. That's a nice feature to have now on most new cars, and all the new car manufacturers do that a little bit differently. But the car runs well. It's quiet on the inside, which I think you can hear right now. I'll just be quiet for a minute, let you listen to that. It's got a nice, quiet, what I'm going to call European feel to the inside of the car. It does have a steering system on it that changes with speed, so the feel of the wheel actually changes as you go faster. And again, there's different ways you can order the chassis on this vehicle. There's several different modes that you can get in the chassis. This car we have today actually came with the touring mode. Go check out the website to learn more about that, but you can actually buy the car with the different performance, if you would, quote unquote, settings right off the bat in the car. This one came with the touring package on it, and I tell you what, the car just works, again, just works fantastic. I've enjoyed it. It's got good power. It works well. One of the only downsides we've had with this car is fuel economy at 24. We felt like it should be a tad higher than that. So I tell you what, let's go back. We'll walk through the interior, walk through the trunk. We'll also give you our opinion of the 2016 Volvo S60 and what we actually think. But again, if you like this vehicle or you're interested in it, go check it out at your local Volvo dealer. All right, we're going to do the rear portion now. Hope you enjoyed the drive. Again, this is the 2016 Volvo S60 cross-country T5 all-wheel drive, which means it's got the 5-cylinder engine in it. I can either use the key fob or just walk back here and hit the trunk. It is not an automatic open. I do have to lift it up ever so slightly. Clean some of the leaves out of here. You can tell we've had a lot of weather here in Colorado lately. Get rid of some of those. Trunk-wise, it's hard to see, I know, with our lighting, but it's got a fair-sized trunk, although it is a little bit, how do I want to say this? The floor is higher because underneath here is where they keep the spare tire. If this was not in here, you'd have a lot more room, of course. But in this particular case, that is where the spare tire is, which raises it up. You can lower the backrest down with the backrest release right here. You just hit this and it'll lower either the left or the right down. One of the features inside that we'll show you in a little bit is the headrest and the back seat do pop up, and they kind of get in the visibility of the driver when you're looking out the back window, but that's easily fixed in the front. You just hit a button and those will fold down. I'll show you that here in just a minute. Again, not a power closing trunk either. Wipe off the rear lens there so you can see that in a minute. I apologize for the car being a little bit dirtier. We've had a really, really wintry week this week in Colorado. Move the snow brush over. I'll climb in the back. This seat is back all the way. As I climb in, you'll notice I'm 5'10". I do have plenty of room back here, but you can see getting in and out. You kind of have to wedge yourself in and out of here. It's not a super easy car to get in and out of the back seat. Now, one thing that I would also mention, something that you'll have to test for yourself. If you're a family and you want to put some car seats back here in the back, and I'm going to hit this headrest up real quick too, by the way. If you're a family and you've got car seats here, you're going to have to look at the distance for the car seat with the kid's feet, and in some cases, a child can't bend their legs when they're sitting in the car seat. That actually means you need a little more room in the back here. It's something that you'll have to check for yourself when you're back here. There is a power port back here, and these rear seats are heated. The switches for those are right here in the middle. You can see those right here. And it also has the venting for your HVAC come out right here. A fair amount of soft touch features, although there is some hard plastic in some areas, but they've trimmed it off with a nice brushed aluminum look trim. As I get out of the car, again, you can just tell even my boots, it gets a little bit wedged underneath the seat. So climbing out, not the easiest. You can see that it's something where you're going to have to kind of wedge yourself in and out of the car. Is that a downside? You're going to have to be the judge of that and check that for yourself. I will say one thing I do like about the car, it's a nice solid car. The doors, the doors shut very nice, very solid, really nice car. And you can see the mirrors folding in automatically when the car is locked, which it just did. It'll now unlock as I grab it, and I've got the key fob in my pocket. Let me climb around to the front seat, and we'll go through the front area of the 2016 Volvo S60. All right, we're now in the front seat, again, of the 2016 Volvo S60, and I will say this, Volvo, you've done a really good job. It's a very, very comfortable car, especially when you get in the front. And I should have mentioned this a moment ago when I was in the back seat. Very, very comfortable back seat. Again, the back seat's just something where you're going to have to get yourself in and out of it. And to some people, that might be a little bit cumbersome, especially if somebody's, you know, got elderly parents. Something along those lines. Young kids, they'll climb in and out, no problem. But elderly parents, getting them in and out of the back, something to notice, and something you really need to go take whatever family member you're going to have involved with your car purchase. As we always say, take them with you so that you can actually get them in and out of the car and see how things work. But as we look through the center stack, it's all Volvo. Nothing really has changed there. They've done a few different things as far as the telematics on the car, which we went through in the driving portion. But gear shift selector here. There's a couple of cup holders. You slide back here, and it is fairly roomy here. There's a 12-volt power port here. One thing we don't talk about much that you'll notice on a lot of these cars, there's no more cigarette lighters. This is not a cigarette lighter. It's just a 12-volt power port. And for those of you that still smoke and use a cigarette lighter, I think those are options that you either have to buy or figure out how to work with later, because most of these cars now do not come with a cigarette lighter. So when you open up the console here, it's not a really big console. There is a USB port back here and an auxiliary port, but it's not a really big console. You're not going to get a purse or anything along those lines in there. It's fairly limited as far as that. You do get some storage in the outer pockets. Richard can show you that. And again, sort of a hard plastic look, although they've done a nice defining look to the door panel. It does look well. And again, this car works extremely well. Again, heated steering wheel in the cold climate package. It's hard to pick up with the camera, but the windshield, again, is heated. It does have a lot of the safety features on the Volvo that you've come to love and expect, those of you that know about the Volvos. The one thing that Richard and I have talked about, and we went through a little bit of this in the driving portion, is we wish they do a little bit of updating when it comes to the infotainment system. In today's cars, the screen's getting a little bit smaller. They need to expand the screen a little bit here. And some of these buttons here, I mean, for example, when I first climbed in the car, the clock wasn't set for daylight saving time, which just hit us here just recently. And I'm not exaggerating. It took me probably 20 minutes of going through the menus to try to figure out where to actually change that, even after looking inside the owner's manual. And you would think that would be something that would be fairly easy to adjust. Now, most of you that have Volvos, you may have known right where it was. Now that I know where it is, I'd know right where to go also. But those are just some little kind of idiosyncrasies with this particular vehicle that, again, you're going to need to learn it. Once you do, it's not bad, but it's something that you'll have to learn. All the steering wheel controls, of course, are on the front here as normal. It does have lane departure assist on the vehicle. All the wiper controls are over here. Of course, turn signals, all that is on the left. You can adjust the mirrors, and it does have memory seat options and all of that. So I tell you what, let me hop out, and I'll give you my opinion of what I think of the 2016 Volvo S60. All right, folks, my opinion, I should say our opinion of the 2016 Volvo S60 all-wheel drive T5. Like this car. It drives well, it's comfortable, it handles well. With the turbo engine at our altitude, it runs extremely well. Once you get used to all of the center stack features and how all that works, it's actually a pretty easy car to navigate through as far as the driving of it is concerned. I love some of the features that are on the car, like the automatic high beams, the heated windshield. On cold mornings, this car really works well. I will tell you that. Some of the negatives to the car, price is not a negative. I think it's a fairly priced, it's a good price car for what you get in this particular vehicle. The one negative is fuel economy. I kind of feel like for what you're getting here with a smaller engine, 24 miles to the gallon in the city, not as good as I would like to see it. Outside of that, the car works phenomenal. It runs well, it's quiet, it handles well, and it's one of those cars when you get in and drive it, it just feels right. I don't know how to explain that. It's just a feeling you get when you hop in a car and you just say, man, this car just feels right. That's this car right here. So go check it out at your local Volvo dealer. Drive it for yourself and make sure you tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.